Shalom. Kol Halo Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, the would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, according to Amos 9 and 11. Right, as the governing body over the kingdom of heaven, which will be here on earth, which will be ruled over by the Israelites, the bloodline of Yahushua, of King David. All right, that's scriptural. Earth will be here on heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen, that have the appearance of the heathen, and the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. All right. The name of our Lord, King, and Savior is Yahushua. It is not JC. See yesterday's video on that topic. All right, now I have a collaboration of videos. This was the first one. You can see the name of the video. It's Chris Hedges being interviewed by the Useful Idiots. And I'm just going to play it to set the standard for what's going on. But what's happening in these last days is the exposure, the man of the man of wicked, you know, the lineage of evil. the wicked are being exposed. And I'm talking about the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. That's a major part of prophecy, as they set up, you know, their supposed, you know, their digital hegemony, their new digital hegemony, control over everything and all things. And the scripture says when they're about to fill their belly, that's when the Lord's going to strike them down. So they're going to fulfill this thing and increase the suffering in the world. So let's get some scriptures, jump this thing off. This is and this is completely organic. You know, these are a group of videos that I have lined up. I'm searching for the scripture I want. That I got from my beloved April O'Neil, my undercover journalist. A lot of good information that she sent that I intend to use today. But this is Habakkuk 2 and 1, and it reads, "And I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he shall say unto me, and what shall I answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, it will not tarry." So we're being holy, righteous journalists, reading the signs as they come, as reading the visions, you know, as they come. This is the appointed time. We're living in the end. Okay? And one of them, and remember, you know, as the scriptures say, Esau, Edom, the wicked has to be exposed in these last days, right? As the curses reverse and come upon Edom. And the whole world is turning on the Edomites at this point, on the hegemony, which is Babylon, and then little Babylon, little Satan over there, as Ishmael calls them.
Inquiry joined a host of other high-level experts to declare what is a UN Commission of Inquiry joined a host of other high-level experts to declare what Israel is doing in Gaza to be a genocide. Now, you have been covering this issue for a very, very long time, and it really impacted your own journalistic career, because more than 2 decades ago, during the Second Intifada, you wrote a very important piece for Harper's Magazine, which you did while you were on vacation from your job at the New York Times.
2 decades ago? Hold on, let me go back.
Career, because more than 2 decades ago, during the Second Intifada, you wrote a very important piece for Harper's Magazine, which you did while you were on vacation from your job at the New York Times as a New York Times correspondent, in which you documented the barbarism of Israel's occupation of Gaza, including, as you reported, killing.
Wow, so two decades ago, Chris Hedges. So he really has been sounding this alarm for a long time. He wrote a piece in the New York Times about the barbarism. I'm sure they didn't appreciate that. That's probably why he's no longer with New York Times. But on the barbarism of the Israeli occupation in Gaza. And the truth of the matter is, colonialism, that's all this is modern day colonialism being pushed again. The colonialists have always been the most barbarous people. You know, from the time going back to, to the first rulership of Edom, when the Edomites were ruling in Rome, the first part of the pagan Roman Empire, because the Holy Roman Empire, that was Jake. Those were so-called Negroes were ruling. All right, and that's a very interesting history that they conveniently tried to cover up, but it's too much evidence to prove that what I just said was 100% true.
Killing children for sport.
Wow.
And now, of course, more than 2 decades later, we can't even count how many children the Israelis have killed inside Gaza since.
And it's funny, I just saw a little TikTok short, or not a TikTok short. It could have been on TikTok. I saw it on Instagram, but it could have originally been a TikTok video where some guy ran up on some IDF soldier and said something to the effect, "Do you even know how many children you've killed?" And the soldier just simply said, "Not enough." And and he spit at him and turned around and walked away.
October 7th. And because you wrote that article, you became non grata at the New York Times, especially then after you then denounced the Iraq War and were soon forced to leave the Times. So
there we go, because the Iraq War was a lie, which was a complete lie, and it was orchestrated by, by the little hats, the imposters. And there never was any weapons of mass destruction, yet millions of Iraqi died. Millions of people died as a result of that. And America's been broke ever since. All right. America has put who knows how many trillions into this war and what it really comes down is a ginormous colonial project of the Israelis to colonize and expand the greater Israel, when the Bible clearly tells you these people are not the people of the Lord anyway. Let's get Ezekiel 36:5. And it reads, "Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea," going back to the Romans. That's the Greek way of saying Edom. All right. "Which have appointed my land into their possession." See, the Edom has appointed the Holy Land into their possession. "With the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey." All right, and it kind of the scripture has a precept in Joel, and Joel lets you know that in that place that Esau have. Let's just go to it, where they have appointed to themselves is also where the Lord is going to gather all nations, and because why? That is the Yehoshaphat. That is where the Lord is going to make his decision to come against all these nations. All right, we're in those last moments of the last days, and this is what's happening. All right, so before I read that, actually, let me just go ahead and read that now. Joel. It says, this is Joel 3:1. "For behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem," he's going to free us. All right. "And I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So we were scattered among the nations, and then Esau, Edom, and the people who helped them back then scattered us. All right. We were scattered. And verse 3 tells you, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink." And the brother Rapah, one of the elder bros in the Chicago camp, brought out a scene from a movie some years ago where the slavers were singing about about slaves, muskets, and wine. And that's what they traded. They were trading the women for. And they were making, harlots out of both the boys and the girls, having their way sexually with us, and that nothing has changed. All right. This was done primarily by Esau, Edom. Right. Verse 4. Yeah, what will you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? Those were, the African, so-called African nations, the Hamites is what they're actually called. Right. And all the coasts of Palestine. Because that land was full of, Palestine was full of Hamites. The Hamites extended into the north part of Western Asia, what they call the Middle East. Those Hamites, those African nations, this Canaan was all the way up, all throughout so what you call the Middle East today, which is Western Asia, in the ancient time. And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because Canaan, they part of the curses. The Ham's son Canaan was cursed. Canaan lost his land. All right, and now Canaan was trying to get back at Israel by helping the Edomites and the Ishmaelites send us into slavery, which is all recorded right here in the Bible. Because you have taken my silver and gold and have carried into your temples my goodly and pleasant things. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. Who were the new Grecians at that time? All right, the new Grecians were Esau, Edom, Rome. All right, that ye might remove them far from their borders. That's why the rabbis refer to have been, as of lately, often referring to Europe, to Italy, Rome, and Europe as Edom, or Esaph, as they say, or Asaph. Some of them say Asaph, some of them say Esaph. And they also refer to white Christians in America as Asaph because they are. Well, we have news for you. You converts of Jayism are also primarily Asaph. And you're a house divided. And that's why you're falling and you're going against one another. All right. And all the prophecies are falling into place. We play a video. Once again, I had a couple videos lined up from my beloved April O'Neil. And let's start with this one.
Mexican citizens broke through the barrier yesterday to get to the Capitol. Women, children. Mexican citizens broke through the barrier yesterday to get to the Capitol. Women, children, elderly, the disabled were fired on. Rubber bullets. The biggest takeaway now is citizens are like, we're willing to risk our life for our children, for the next generation. The violence, both sides, the citizens beat the shit out of the cops, and the cops beat the shit out of the citizens.
That's 2 Ezra 15.
This is not over.
You wait till it happens in America.
It's what many are saying, just the beginning, as the citizens have completely turned on Mexican narco president Claudia. They're not backing down. This could literally turn into a Nepal moment where they don't go to work, they don't go to school.
All right. Nepal pretty much failed. Its government collapsed. The people attacked the Holy Family and the government a couple months back. You didn't, and there really there wasn't a whole lot of coverage on that in America. But, and I think because they feared the same thing.
They just clash back and forth. We'll see if it continues to escalate. But I saw a lot of sad videos of children bleeding in the face that were hit with things that were fired. And, women, elderly. It's sad because there's so many people here in America that aren't Mexican. And look what's happening in that country. Not one word. Not one word. There's influencers that are Mexican. Not one word for what's happening in that country. But yet, they want to protest and carry the flag. and be like, we are Mexico. What's happening in that country? I've been trying to put as much information out for a while about how it's getting worse. 400 body bags were discovered in a construction site. They were getting ready to clean up the site in Jalisco. Found 400 bags, 400 bodies. They still haven't been identified. This has been months. Those body bags, they've had them.
Damn.
They don't care to identify. They don't care to give the people peace of mind. We'll see what happens. We've heard that this administration is going to get boots on the ground one day. If we see what's happening all over the Caribbean Ocean and all that, it might just happen. It might just happen. But as for President Claudia, she's cooked. The citizens don't care. The few that supported her are overwhelmingly a small percentage. Just like when it happens in America with the previous bag of bones, it's a small percentage of a lot of people. They get amplified, but it's a small percentage of people. Interesting times. Yes, down south.
Yeah, it's definitely some interesting times. And let's get some scriptures. Wow, it's a lot happening just south of the border here. And like I said, in Americans have no idea. This is 2nd Ezra. And it's a shadow of things to come here in America. 9 and 1, and it reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." All right, it opens up almost identical to Habakkuk. It says, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And the Lord is visiting. You having the chariots, the war drums are beating all over the world. You're actually having clashes. So it's not like war is coming. War has already started. It just hasn't reached the shores of America in that manner yet. But America is also involved in this. Okay. You best believe, and when you think about what's going on in the Caribbean and the control and the involvement with Israel and America, they have their hands in all things. It says, "Then shall thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world," there have been so many earthquakes in these last 10 years or so, and then even in the last couple years, you can't even keep up. And we've watched over the last 5 years, ever since before, the last 10 years, of the uproars of the people all over Europe, all here in America. The whole George Floyd thing, all the stuff that was happening over in Greece and in France, in Italy, all these uproars and riots and the people, even the stuff that happened in England. Going back to the teens, I think it was around 2011, 12, 13, somewhere around that time. All them riots they were having over there. It says, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. The prophecies that were warning you of these days to come, and the men of the Lord who have been on the highways and byways, as the Bible orders the men of the Lord to be, not inside some building. Okay. And giving you warning, sounding this alarm. And you can say what you want to say. The things that the Hebrew Israelites have been saying is literally happening in the world right before your face. It says, "For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works and effects and signs." So we're always looking for the signs for what when something happens in the news, to filter it through the scriptures so that we know exactly where we are. And I can't give you a time or date. But what we can do is tell you that it's near, that it's literally happening. The birth pains have started, and we all know that once the birth pain starts, that baby is going to be born. right? Even if the baby dies, it's still, so there's a child of chaos that's actually being birthed right now. And the mother of chaos, she's in labor. So it's just a matter of time before full-blown chaos engulfs Babylon, engulfs the world. And everyone that shall be saved, that shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. Ye shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land with my borders, and I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. And the people who are sanctified and going to be saved from this are the elect. Not all of Israel, but the elect of Israel, because the rest of Israel, which are the 2/3, well, verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they have cast them away despitefully, shall dwell in torment. All right? And as simple as that. Why? Because they loathed the law of the Lord, man. They had a chance. They heard the gospel. They scoffed and chose adultery, weed, drugs, whatever. They murder of their own brother. They chose to stand to keep worshiping these abominable, unholy days like Xmas and Thanksgiving and things of those natures, Easter, instead of the Passover. You know? So let me go back and get another video. Oh yeah, let's do this thing, because there's been hella movement with the Muslims right now. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna do this one for Melody King. And it's about a 3-minute video. And yeah, this video might end up having a part 2, because I'm definitely gonna have to continue this one with these last 3 videos. So we'll do this one with Melody King, and then we'll bring, you know, whatever scripture the Spirit gives me, we'll bring out. But here we go. 48 months in 24 months. What are they hiding from Americans? And I have a former client and a friend of mine who keeps talking about the Muslims taking over here in America. And at first I was kind of like, but now you can, and it's funny how while they've been going after the Northern Kingdom, you know, there's another threat happening over in Europe, which they're having the same problem with the Muslims, and Muslims are making up, you know, and you don't have to be, you know, an Ishmaelite to be a Muslim. You got a lot of Hamites, Africans that are Muslim, actual Hamites, sons of Ham, and you got a lot of Jakes that are with that too. And then it also dawned on me, if they're going to target Muslims, that means they're going to target the Nation of Islam here in America, which means they're going to target so-called black people, period. All right, because you have Muslims in America, Negroes that are involved with Islam that have nothing to do with the fruit of Islam, Farrakhan's guys. All right, they don't even wear beards. Real Islam, men of Islam follow, you know, they're Hebrew. You know, those Ishmaelites are Hebrew. They're also Shemitic people. All right, so they keep that custom. But nevertheless, they're going to lump them all together. So when they go after these Islamists, that's going to include Farrakhan and the guys who follow that version of Islam. But here we go.
I'm going to give you 2 seconds to guess where this is. Guess where this is. Anywhere in the world. I want you to guess where this is. Okay? Well, your 2 seconds are up, guys, because take a look. This Muslim gathering was in Irving, Texas. Irving, Texas is the city in Texas where 2 Sharia law courts are operating, already ruling on over 300 cases. Do you understand how serious this Islam situation is in America? Now, I have brought you videos about Epic City in Texas and how it's going ahead. The DOJ investigated, Texas investigated. There's nothing they can do about it. They're building this giant mega city, okay, Islamic mega city, where Sharia law will be the law and order in Texas, in this mega city. But it's not just Texas. Okay? We're seeing this all across the United States. Okay, and we're going to tie it into New York. There's things happening in Florida. I don't know if I can cover it all
also
in this video,
Michigan.
But make sure you guys are subscribed, because what have I been bringing you? I've been bringing you all the chaos that has been happening in this country. All they want us distracted with all these other things and not focusing on what they're really doing. Of course, we know the bigger picture, where they're just, when I talk about the WEF, when they say that they want to have with digital ID, they want to tie in if you got vaccinated for these for a pandemic that's coming up. I played that video in a live stream where Tony Blair accidentally said it. I mean, the list goes on and on.
A pandemic just coming up.
To do everything
so they just know
to distract us, to keep us feeling in fear, to erode the rule of law. And to just,
she said that, and I've heard it, but so what do you have? How do you know? You got a pandemic weather channel. It's like, yeah, well, there's gonna be a new disease that's gonna come out, and how do you like I said, setting up disease creation. I guess if you creating disease, that when they're coming out, and when they're gonna make their
keep things at such a frantic pace with news that we are not actually seeing what's happening under the cover. You're not going to see this on mainstream media. You're not going to see this pretty much anywhere. But I'm going to be bringing you this information. So let's continue, because there are some things. Let's go back. We saw Texas, which we'll get back to in a second. But look what's going on in New York. So it says here, New York Police Department is educating the public on how to properly wear a hijab. The NYPD are instructing the public on how to wear your new hijab. This is wild, guys. It's wild.
So I can't even because there's different ways, by the way. You can fit it how you want to, but you can.
Wow. So that's almost to the end of it. But the fact that they're educating women through the police department on how to wear a hijab in New York. Ishmael is making moves, man, and his religion. And there's definitely going to be a clash, and this is what you have to understand is that this chaos, well, it's already been forecast in the Bible. And it's going to lead to pushback from Edom, and it's going to lead to it's going to help lead to the Civil War. All right, and then which is going to happen for many reasons. All right, so it's not just a left and a right thing. It's a whole lot of other things going on as well. It's also going to be a huge racial divide. And they start attacking and killing Muslims. That's going to help bring in the prophecy of the dragons of Arabia. All right. Yeah, because it seems like the only Muslims that are allowed to be massacred right now are the Palestinians. But if you start killing them elsewhere, that there might be, and a lot of those Palestinians, Muslims that are dying, you got a certain demographic of Muslims that are highly upset at it. All right, and then you got the puppet places, like Saudi Arabia, which are controlled by the little hats. They've been in league with them for a long time. Because, I still find it funny that, that ISIS, very interesting, that ISIS is declared as a T group, but they never attack Israeli or American interests. They only seem to attack other Muslims. That's, things that make you go, All right, so, but Esau, let me show you this video, this racist piece of shit here. Mind you, pay attention to the loudmouth Edomite with the vest on. Like he's sending a signal. He's wearing his You know, the vest that you're for your ammo loadout. That's what he's wearing. Okay. And I'll play it after I play this short one because it's only 30 seconds long.
Trump has apparently been implicated in the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi Arabian journalist that was murdered in 2018. Congressman Vindman of Virginia has said that there is a disturbing phone call that exists between Donald Trump and MBS. This might be part of the larger release of the files. I stand by my prediction. Donald Trump has been prepping for this. Donald Trump is about to resign. Donald Trump has apparently been.
So if Donald Trump resigns, it's going to bring in JD Vance, which is a complete racist, white ring nationalist, and it's gonna be all the way on if JD Vance gets in office, because then this is going to happen. And this is a video that was put up by the beloved brother from Arrows of Indignation. Let's just get it to it. And like I said, let's pay attention to the Edomite with the ammo loadout vest on, the green one. Just wait for that to load up. The brother needs to shorten up these. Here we go.
And we're being driven out. You come here and you marry 4 or 5 women and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like.
Everyone can outbreed Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, even with one wife, collectively. Because, he's the weakest male on the planet. His sperm is weak. All right. And his women have no problem breeding when they get with men of color, especially so-called black men and Hispanic men. That's just a fact. So he's mad that these Ishmaelites marry multiple wives and then outbreed them.
The places that you fled from, we don't want you here. Respectfully, get the fuck out of my country. I don't want you here. Get out of here.
Now, it's funny how Esau always throws out that sentiment, not and not acknowledging that is exactly what they did to get this country. But I guess that's their biggest fear. Sounds like Ben Franklin.
You are nothing, you can build nothing, just like President Trump's great
you can are nothing, you can build. He's proud, bitch.
Get the fuck out. America first, America only. God bless America. Jesus is king. 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 Let me grab my phone. Jesus is king. Jesus is king. Christ is king. Your hands on me. There's no reason to do that. Jesus is king. Christ is king. America first. I'll be here tomorrow. We're coming to make sure you Muslims don't take us out. I'm not going to clear about 2 million Muslims being taken in America. Go. Keep walking. Let's go. Keep walking. Let's go. We will not surrender. We will not back down. This is what Muslim America wants us to do. They want us to cower. Christians, stand up. Stand tall. America, across this country, rise up just like you did today.
This right here is not religious freedom, but this is forcing religion on a whole entire city. Dearborn, Michigan has the Muslim call to prayer over 5 times a day, and there's zero outrage. Imagine if Christians broadcasted prayer
prayers over city speakers 5 times a day. I guarantee people would be so offended at this, but since it's Islam, no one wants to say anything because they don't want to offend anyone. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to sit back and let America get overtaken by Islamic extremists.
Violence coming out of Dearborn, Michigan, where patriots are showing up to confront the Muslim community. In one part of this video, they attempt to burn the Quran. In another part of this video, they are slapping a pound of uncooked pork on top of the Quran. Again,
Wow.
take a look at this video, and then I'm going to come back and tell you exactly what I see.
They did the same thing in our temple, sacrifice pork, and you know, when they took down Jerusalem the first time. It's that same piece of shit with the ammo vest on. And his little 4-eyed buddy right there with the big mouth. That asshole right there. So he's got a piece of pork in his hand, trying to put it on top of the Quran and burn it.
To the leaders of the Islamic community, what did I tell you is going to happen? What did I tell you is going to happen if you continue to show signs that you want to infiltrate and take over this country? Let me be very clear to every single one of you that this is not the unity.
So let me tell you, man, what they're doing, they're overwhelming you in the news with the Jeffrey Epstein and Trump things while this is going on. All right, Second Ezra is closer than you think. All right, this is Second Ezra 15, and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." You're getting ready to see race riots, political riots, class riots, all of that. So prepare yourselves. Until the next lesson, call halal Yahweh Basham Shai Bahasham Rakah Kwadash Kwam Yasharala Abad Babal.